Welcome to Trail Manners, the podcast so dedicated to mountain trails and running that they broadcast out of a 78 Volkswagen bus in the mountains. Who does that? Eric and Joel are your hosts and will bring you the trail life as you may have not heard it before. You hear about everything from gear reviews, nutrition to keep you upright and moving forward, and they'll even bring guests into the bus for conversations that you won't hear anywhere else. It's time for some running adventures on a higher elevation. The old 78 Volkswagen bus is fired up and headed to the mountains. Here are your hosts for Trail Manners, proudly representing the 801 with their passion and love for the trails. Eric Manning and Joel Hatch.
Hello and welcome to the Trail Manners Podcast, episode number 51. It's a special show we're launching today. We are at the Intermountain McKay-Dee Surgery Center and Orthopedics in Ogden, Utah. We're super excited to talk to multiple guests on this grand opening day, a huge asset to the community. So if this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The Trail Manners Podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at trailmanners.com. Come back often, and please feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Trail Manners. All links are in the show notes. Let's get after it. All right, welcome back to a special episode of the Trail Manners Podcast. We're on location at the Intermountain McKay-Dee Surgery Center and Orthopedics. It's the grand opening today here in Ogden, Utah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
Yeah, we got Joel Hatch all in a button-up shirt, some nice pants today.
Looking good, smelling good.
You are, for sure, and we're pretty close. Our first guest today, personally, I'm really excited to announce because this is Dr. Jason Blackham. And Dr. Blackham helped me out about 5 years ago.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, it was. It was pretty close to that. I was struggling with some serious Achilles problems.
Right.
I'm not kidding you. I went to about 4 or 5 different physicians, and I got everything from running's bad for you, steroid injections,
right,
you have to have surgery on your Achilles, and just quit running.
Straight up cut the foot off.
Yeah, and so finally I got a referral to Dr. Blackham. Went in, he looked it over real quick. He's like, oh, yeah, we'll have you back up in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And my eyes lit up, and he gave me a dose of what I need to do, and no kidding, 2 weeks later, pain-free running.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So thank you for coming on and being our first guest today.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you really changed things around because I was in a bad place at that point.
He was.
I'm glad to hear you're doing better. And
He was a
got back
grumpy
into it. It's
monkey.
Great.
Yeah, I was super grumpy, and not that it helped my running, but it kept me running. So I think that's the key to that. So we're here today.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about why are you excited about this building and this facility that just went up?
I love this building and this concept as a comprehensive sports medicine center. And when I was at the University of Iowa, I worked in a center like this, where we had physical therapists, orthopedic surgeons, athletic trainers, occupational therapists, neurotherapists, all combined in one. And it's great for the patients.
Right.
Because we can just walk across the hallway and communicate. I can grab one of the therapists and bring them into the room. They can grab me and take me over to their side, and we can discuss what's going on and a more comprehensive approach and outlook on the patients. And it adds so much to patient care.
It does. The patients really appreciate that, right? They feel like you're more invested at that point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And patients like that. They see that communication and that we care for them.
Well, and it's like
true.
And you see it from start to finish. Like you get them in right when it's diagnosed or diagnosing it, and then you could see them all the way to the very end till they're back doing whatever they love from every phase of the process.
Yeah, exactly. And if I have any questions, I've got the surgeons right there next to me. They've got they've got us right there. So if I have a patient that's really a surgical issue, I can have them see the surgeon. They have somebody that really needs to see me, and we just flip-flop patients or whatever. And so we get patients in the right area and where they need to be.
That's phenomenal.
To get them better.
It is. But don't you think in a way, I mean, that is like the ideal model, right? That you want to be in if you're a runner, because we focus on running. That's the model you should want to be into because you're going to get better care that way.
Exactly. When you look at national models, like with the Olympic Committee,
right,
other high sports centers across the country at big universities, this is the model they have.
Right. So we're really lucky here in Ogden, Utah to have this. Because is there anybody else that's doing this in the state right now?
Well, Tosh has a similar model, but it's a little different. They're a little bit larger, and we've based it a little bit off of Tosh. But other than that, it doesn't really exist. You
So
don't have a clinic where you have the therapist right there with the doctors.
We're pretty lucky in Ogden to have this.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is just another tool set, and we've talked about this a lot, about having a set of tools to keep you healthy, to keep you engaged and active throughout your life.
But unlike Tosh, our building here is built around the patient.
Right.
Yeah.
It's when we were doing the design for this, designed it to make it easiest for the patient. They're
Right.
not getting lost. It's a straight one-way shot to the rooms.
And it is
It's
true.
so
You walk
easy
in,
that way.
and it's easy to
Everything's
navigate.
Bright light,
Yeah.
natural light.
I
It's
love
built
that.
for the patient.
That was the first thing I noticed when I walked in. It's like, man, this is bright in here. This is awesome.
Well, and then the location. I mean, the mountains are right across
Yeah,
the
right?
street.
Exactly.
You can't beat that.
There's
Can't
a
beat the
mountain
view
right there.
either
Yeah.
way.
Especially
The valley
if you're doing therapy, you're never going to get bored because
Yeah.
you're going to be looking up those hills the whole time.
Yeah, and when I drove in, I noticed on the back side there, right outside, there's like a small tennis court.
Yeah,
Just
basketball
right
court
there.
too.
Yeah, just all that
And
facility
the reason why
outside.
that is to incorporate some return to sport programs. So
Right.
we'll have a grass area back there that we can do return to sport programs. We got the courts,
Yeah.
all coordinated right there.
Wow, this is seriously so awesome for the community.
Yeah, it is.
So give us a little background about, I mean, you're a runner, right? I mean, you're just not, I mean.
No, he's not just a runner.
Yeah, I was going to.
He's a good runner.
Yeah.
My wife actually went to the Marathon Olympic trials this year.
Oh, man,
and ran in
deflecting
LA,
to
so
her
it was
already.
just-
That
it
was really
incredible.
good. Nice deflection. But let's talk about you because you're a good runner.
Yeah.
You're not going to get away with this,
me
dude.
and Joel have seen you fly around on the
That's
trails
right.
up there.
So my wife and I actually met running on the cross country team at Southern Utah University, where we ran cross country and track. And I had to take a break through med school and a little break through residency, but it's great to be back out in the community running, and I love it.
Right on.
I
So
love it.
Ogden has a really strong running community, right? And
We do, and thanks to Weber State. You
Yeah.
know, Weber State's got a great cross country and track program, and as a result, the runners stay around here, and it
Right.
just builds up and builds up and builds up. Brett Hell's just placed very high in the country for the national mountain races, and we had several people go to the track and field trials this
Right.
year, and it's a great opportunity to see runners, and we see them running out on the parkway, out on the trails, and
yeah,
big groups that like to run together. It's
it's crazy. You'll be up on the trail, and all of a sudden, the Weber State men's cross country or women's cross country team will come flying by you.
Literally.
It's like a train, right? And they just come chugging by, and you're like, "Yeah, that is cool."
It is pretty sweet to see them go that easy, and they look
Yeah.
so good at it.
They
That's
do.
the thing. It's like they just glide,
They do, right?
Yeah, and we
I
gotta-
mean, us old duffers were like, "Darn it!"
huffing and puffing.
That's right.
We like to get out of the way first, hide in the trees. So
Yeah, I
don't know
wish
how
they had
slow
like a
you
little
are.
horn. We're coming through.
But the nice thing about the running community is we know each other.
We do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how fast or slow you are. You have your own goals.
That's
and
right.
It's a great part, and it's great to be out there on the trails and just see people and
Yep.
see people and say hi. And I love it when I see my patients and they wave to me and say, "Hey, doc, look, I'm running." And
Yeah.
there's nothing better than that.
And
That's
that's
cool.
funny because that happened really early on from when I came to see you. It was like a month later, and I saw you on the trail, and it was kind of I was like, oh, sweet. I'm on the trail, and there's my doctor running on the trail, a lot faster than me. But that was really neat to see that up on the trail system here.
That makes a difference when your doctor knows the sport and
Oh.
knows and is out there
Yeah.
running. And I've been through my own injuries and can pass that on to my patients and help them out. And having a doctor that's a runner and not telling you not to run makes a huge difference.
Well, and that's one of the questions when I called around to find somebody. I asked, they'd pick up the phone, the office. I'd look through my insurance, and I'm like, yeah, does the doctor run? And they were like, excuse me?
Yeah,
I was like,
in your
"What?"
click.
yeah. I was like, okay, never mind. You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. So, yeah, it does make a huge difference because another thing you just took part on is you were away a little bit this summer, right?
Yeah, I actually had the great opportunity to spend the month of August in Brazil
Wow.
as one of the physicians.
Wait a
for
minute,
Team
what was going on
USA.
there?
Yeah, something big.
Something big?
Yeah, just a little bit, just a little thing.
Just the Summer Olympic Games.
Yeah, right. That's so cool.
Yeah. So what did you get to do when you were over there? You
Yeah.
were one of the physicians for the
Yeah, I
athletes
was
there?
invited to be a physician for the U.S. Olympic Committee for Team USA. So one of 5 non-surgical sports medicine physicians to participate with them. It was just an awesome opportunity.
What was like the top 2 things for you while you were there that you're going to remember for the rest of your life?
The first thing was just the amazing people I was able to meet. Athletes and non-athletes, athletes' families, and people that work for the Olympic Committee.
Right.
A lot of just tremendous people that like to help people and be around people. And that's the first thing. The second was just seeing the whole organization. before going to the Olympics, I didn't realize everything in the background and everything that goes on to make the athletes so that all they have to do is worry about competing and training.
While you were down there, did you get to go see any of the events?
I did. Thankfully, they actually gave me about 3.5 days off.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so I was able to see 4 sessions of track and field, some beach volleyball, canoe sprint. We saw both the marathons, and that was the men's and women's. That was awesome to be able to cheer on Jared Ward.
Yeah, he's a local boy.
Guy here, and we saw him play 6th, and it was just awesome.
How amazing is that?
That is so
to have a
cool.
local Utah boy come 6th
in the U.S. Olympic game or the
in the Olympics.
Summer Olympic Games.
That's so neat.
It was
and
amazing.
He's kind of young, right?
He is.
So he's got some upside still.
He's got a lot of time. As far as marathon runners go, he's young.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it'll be fun to watch him.
And he's a
progress.
coach. He's a coach too, right?
Is he?
Doesn't he?
I'm not sure if he's coaching or not.
Okay.
I know right now he's living in Park City and training there, but
What a great place to train.
Okay. It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not bad. So yeah, that's. I mean, just the honor that. I mean, for you to get that call or get that letter, get that email. I mean, that must have been pretty exciting.
Oh well, Bill Moreau, who's the head of the medical division for the U.S. Olympic Committee, called me in January. I remember it was 5:00 on the second Sunday of January, and I saw my phone go off and it said Colorado Springs. I thought, well, maybe they're calling me about an athlete because I was getting frequent calls about questions on athletes. I thought maybe that was it, but I didn't recognize the number. And when he said, "Hi, it's Bill," and I knew who he was, I was just like, "Why are you calling me?" and then he extended the invitation, and I didn't know whether to jump for joy, to cry, to roll over, to laugh and think it was a joke.
Right.
I wasn't sure what to do.
You were trying to play cool, weren't you?
So many emotions.
Let me
all
check
at the
my
same
calendar
time. It
to
was
see
amazing.
if this is available right now.
And
That's so
that
cool.
is awesome. And I mean, just being right here, and then the facility.
Yeah.
And you're young too, so this is something that you're going to see just a lot of growth with this as well.
It will. We're not done yet. The sports medicine has a long way to go, and the plans that we have to bring here and do is just going to have a huge benefit to the community, to national elite athletes, and down to just our elderly patients and people that are blue-collar workers that need help with their issues too.
Right. Now, there's some things here that maybe you have access to. I know you mentioned just talking to doctors and everything else. Are there other things that you have access to now that you didn't there, like some newer things, or what's?
We have a new ultrasound machine that's a little more high-tech.
Okay.
And I do a lot of ultrasound-guided injections and ultrasound-guided diagnostics and imaging. And what I love about the ultrasound is it's hands-on. We've got great TV screens in the rooms now, so I can plug in the ultrasound right into the TV, and the patient can see what's going on a big screen TV. And it's just really cool to say, hey, look, here's normal, and show them the side that's normal, and this is abnormal, and they can look at it and say, oh, yeah, now I get it. Now I see what's going on. It's a cool experience for the patients to see their eyes light up as they understand. That's neat.
Connecting the dots there. And I think it's great because, this whole conversation, a lot of things you keep going back to is the patient. I think that just speaks volumes of what's going to happen here. It's, like you said before, it's built around the patient. So I think that's pretty sweet.
Yep.
Well, I know we're getting ready. They're actually getting ready for the official grand opening outside. People are starting to gather around.
Yep.
So we will let you go to kind of do your thing out there. And but we appreciate you coming on the show, and thanks for everything you do for our community, especially the runners. I'll say that, but I know a lot of people that have seen you, and that's why I say that. And a personal thank you for myself. Because now even if I do have that Achilles, little issues there, I know exactly what to do and not listen to other people. So
I appreciate that. I appreciate you inviting me here and taking the time to talk to me and listen to me. It's been great.
Yeah,
anytime.
Well, we're glad to have you on the show. We hope to see you on the trails. We hope we don't have to make an appointment to see you. For that way. But if you do need somebody in the area that's you need to get in for a runner, this is the guy, Dr. Jason Blackham.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us today. Good luck out there. Enjoy shaking hands.
All right, welcome back to another special edition of the Trail Manners podcast. So we just got done with the grand opening ceremony, and we have an athlete with us. And the athlete that's sitting with us is Jacque Dunyon. Jacque, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So Jacque is a tennis player. She is ranked top 10 nationally That's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Especially coming out of Ogden, right? Because you don't think that we're going to get a national tennis player out of Ogden, but we do. And I think, it speaks volumes to the hard work that she's done over the years. And I have a small amount of history with Jackie. She did a little strength work with me a couple of years ago, and I know that she's dedicated to tennis, and that's super rad to see her here again 2 years later.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So, Jackie, tell us a little bit of your experience with the IHC facility. So what interactions have you had with them?
Well, last year I grew about 3 inches, so I had a lot of growing pains, and I had a stress fracture in my back and then a stress fracture in my foot. So Dr. Harrison and his whole clinic helped me get through it really good, and I'm all better now. So
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it, I mean, just playing tennis casually, a back is pretty important.
Yeah, just a little bit, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the torque on it and, all the twisting and the movement
your back
on
for
it.
everything.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I mean, have you been through this facility yet, the new one?
No, I haven't, actually.
So you haven't gone through this one yet?
Nope.
So tell us a little bit about, when you were going through those things, just your mindset, knowing that you're competitive, obviously, because you're ranking, and then kind of your, I'll say struggles because you weren't healthy. I mean, what was your mindset going through that?
Yeah, well, I had to get on the court as soon as possible, so I was trying to stay positive, and I was doing a lot of mental training and getting my mindset, my mind strong, so because I couldn't do much physical work. So.
And how did they assist you besides, I mean, were the physicians, the doctors, I mean, were they giving you, trying to keep you positive with these things and trying to let you know, hey, you'll be back sooner than you think, take it
Yeah,
easy,
definitely.
trying to slow you down, but also make sure you're staying mentally tough?
Yeah, they were.
And
They were trying to make the best decision for the long term, too, because I want to play professionally if I can. So they were doing the best long-term choice.
Okay, so are you back 100% now?
Yep, 100%.
Okay, so what are you doing now? So what's next for you?
I just got into a huge national tournament in Texas,
Right?
and that's my first national tournament back because I've had to work all the way from the bottom. Cause
Right.
My
You have to work
were,
through your points.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because I didn't play tournaments for a really long time, so just getting
That's
back
cool
in.
that you started at not the bottom, but close to it. And through hard work and dedication, you work yourself back up in top 10 nationally.
That's pretty phenomenal.
That's rad.
And
That's so cool.
And you do other things besides tennis because, the area we're in, you were born and raised here in the Ogden area.
Mm-hmm.
So what other activities do you enjoy?
I mountain bike, I wakeboard, and I surf, and I do a bunch of stuff with the mountains. I love hiking. I ski a little, not too much.
Right.
But because I can't get injured.
No, you can't, right? You got other things you got to focus on.
Yeah.
So, you have a really good support system with your family. You got, little sisters that are super athletic. They're rad. So how important were they when you went through that injury process?
Oh,
were
they were
totally there for you?
Yeah,
Of
they were
course
awesome.
they were.
They
Right?
were helping me through everything.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
And so what's next for you besides, so you got this national tournament coming up, and when is that?
It's in October.
In October?
The beginning of October.
So you primed and ready? I mean, that's
Yep.
pretty close. So you're ready to roll.
Yep.
No injuries.
So excited.
No injuries, no tweaks, nothing
No.
like that.
Everything's good.
Right on.
Body's feeling great.
Awesome.
So then what happens when you go there, you do well, you're going to do well. We can already tell that. What's next after that? I mean, is it qualifying for something bigger? Is it just kind of the...
Well, how tennis works is all the tournaments, you get points in them, and then you get into bigger ones each time. So I got into a pretty big one. And then there's lots of other national tournaments, and hopefully in the next few years I'll be playing Grand Slam qualifiers and stuff.
Wow.
And
Yeah, that's a pretty
junior.
big deal.
That is a pretty
Yeah.
big deal.
Right?
So who's your, sometimes when we're younger, we pick icons or idols that we idolize in our sport or our profession. Who do you do for tennis? Who's your...
I've loved Maria Sharapova my whole life. I have a huge, a huge sticker of her in my room, one of those blow-up ones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so she's been my favorite for a long time.
Have you ever had a chance to meet any of these, some of the tournaments even you've gone to? Have you had a chance to meet some of those types of tennis players?
I didn't meet her personally, but I got her autograph on a huge tennis ball, and it's in my room.
That is
Right on.
untouchable, I bet, for anything,
Exactly.
right? It's like hands off.
Yeah,
something like
her sisters come in the room. That's the one thing they're not
Yeah,
allowed
they
to touch.
They know not to touch that one.
That's so cool.
So, and you go to school in the area now too, right?
I do online school because
Okay.
I travel a lot for tennis, and it'd be too hard to miss all the schools. So
your competitions are pretty much based on
Yeah.
these tournaments
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that. So where do you train?
I train at the Ogden Athletic Club,
Nice.
and I train at the Harrison's Court a lot.
Oh, do you?
So I play with their boys. So
Well, with this facility, everything you've heard about it, you were part of the ribbon cutting ceremony, so that's got to be pretty cool for opening a new building. But everything you heard about the facility, I mean, hopefully you'll never have to come back here.
Yeah.
Right?
Unless it's for
Hopefully not.
autographs.
Yeah,
right?
for autographs.
Because
yeah.
she's the number 1 tennis player in the world.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, just looking around, can you see this being a big thing for the community? I mean, from your eyes?
yeah, it's awesome. I'm so excited. It's so awesome for Ogden to get such a state-of-the-art facility, and it's going to be a huge benefit for a lot of athletes around here.
Nice.
Right on.
Well, hey, we don't want to keep you too long.
Nope.
Because I know you want to.
She got to get the practice.
Right, yeah, right, exactly.
Literally.
and you want to look around and see what's going on. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. Good luck
Thank you so
in
much.
October, and we can't wait to hear how you do.
Yep.
We're going to look forward to that. So thanks for joining us. Good luck and stay healthy.
Thank you so much.
All right, welcome back. We're still here at the Intermountain McKay-Dee Surgery Center and Orthopedics. It's with great pleasure that we introduce Mike Clark.
Yep.
Mike, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Well, thank you.
And thank you so much for everything that's going on today in this amazing facility.
It's exciting.
It's turned out really well. We're very excited about it.
Yeah. So give us a little bit about yourself and what your role is here and kind of what you do.
Okay, so my name is Mike Clark. I'm the administrator at McKay-Dee Hospital. I've been the administrator here since January of 15. I spent 10 years up in Logan working in administration there. I was administrator for 5 and an operations officer before that. I actually come from Arizona,
Okay.
and I worked at a hospital in Arizona for 10 years. I grew up in Tucson, University of Arizona graduate, and love the outdoors, love running, and
Right on.
all kinds of things outside. So
Well, this is a great place for all those things.
it
right?
is. We love it here. We really
Is that what
enjoy
drew
it.
you to this area? Was kind of the opportunity to have a really good career, but also the proximity to the
Yeah,
mountains?
there are lots of things. I was in Kingman, Arizona after I got out of school in Tucson, and that's when I started running. And I really liked it there because I could, 300 yards out of my house, I'd run trails.
Yeah.
I could do 10 miles of trails and come back home. And it was nice. But I was looking for some career opportunities. Intermountain is a great organization, so I was
Right.
really excited to look at Intermountain. And growing up in Arizona, sometimes you think you get tired of the dust and the heat and you want to experience 4 seasons,
Oh, yeah.
which I always feel I'm glad about that until February.
You're kind of done with that.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
that
done
white
with that.
season.
Yep.
But when I started looking at Intermountain and I was able to secure a job in Logan, we loved it there. What's so nice is it's so close to the outdoors.
It is.
Same thing with here in Ogden. It's a beautiful town. We love it here. My wife and I relocated down here. We actually live in Huntsville,
Right.
and we just love it. It's a great place, and she commutes back to Logan. She's a professor up at Utah State,
Oh,
so
wow.
okay.
and things work out real well for us.
Well, good. Glad to hear that.
So tell us, kind of in your words and your perspective, why are you excited about this facility?
For a few reasons. The old surgery center, first of all, let's talk about the surgery center. The old surgery center, we've had it there for a long time, and the rooms are small. When we used to build surgery centers a long time ago, we didn't have all the equipment. It wasn't video and everything. So things just got more and more cramped. So building a new building, with the rooms are bigger, they're totally integrated. So all the video monitors are hung on booms, we call them. They hang from the ceiling. Good visualization for the physicians and for the staff. So it's really just bringing that technology together to kind of upgrade the game and make it a little better experience for our providers, the nurses, the physicians, to provide care for our patients. So that part of it's really important. And then to integrate with the physicians and the therapy all together in one spot is just a great plan to really help the patient navigate the whole process and to get them back to their regular activities sooner. So it's really kind of bringing all those things together is that vision.
And for us, what kind of time frame was this from like start to finish? Because I know there was a lot of stuff going on.
We did a groundbreaking in April of last year, so it's about 18 months, a pretty quick build.
Yeah.
Oakland Construction did a great job in bringing it all together. It's always hard to build through the winter here, but they did a great job
Especially
pulling
that
that
big
together.
windstorm we had.
Yes,
Holy cow.
Yeah, that windstorm was a little bit of a mess for us.
It was.
A mess here and a mess over on campus. But they did a great job, and but this has been kind of in the works for probably 15 years.
Okay.
Wow.
As we've been trying to bring together what it would look like, how we develop the programs, how we would kind of pull together and get funding for it. I mean, it always takes, buildings like this, it's $40 million. It takes a while to kind of get everything lined up so we really can and make it feel like it's the right way to spend the money.
Right.
That's just got to be for you and for the people. 15 years. I mean, that's kind of the way to look at the planning and it's pretty. I mean, this is a big day.
Yeah, I mean, there were pauses as we, said, okay, this is our vision, and how do we get to that vision and getting things to come together, and some setbacks, and so it's really the intensive planning was probably the last 5 years.
Right. But still, for the people involved in this is just a big day.
Yeah.
I mean, not just for the facility and the people, but the community. I mean, it's just like we've talked about is the area with all the outdoors and the activities. I mean, and not just for athletes, but
right. It's for everybody.
For everybody.
I mean, it provides great things for athletes, but really, it's for everybody. I mean, you come in after your hip replacement. You can be 70 years old. We'll get you back to where you want to be, and get you back moving again. So it's really, we try to hit the whole continuum of our patients, and that's really what this facility can do.
Now,
it mixes them together. That's what's really kind of neat.
Yeah,
exactly. You can have a Weber State athlete or another a high school athlete here trying to get back, return to their sport, and then right next to them working out is somebody that's retired and had a hip replacement.
Right. I think that's the unique thing of the building is that like you said, you touched on you'll have a high-end athlete, and then you're going to have grandma.
Right.
All being taken care of in one place. The building took 15 years, and one of the things that you touched on during the opening ceremony is how much that McKay-Dee gives back to the community. And when you said that, I looked over to Eric. I said, "You need to remember that number." And I think it was $500 million.
Yeah.
And that is amazing.
That's phenomenal.
That's about $400 million in capital dollars just to build, to help the community. But then we do significant amount of charity care every year too.
Right.
In the tens of millions of dollars in charity care.
So you guys are super committed and involved in the community, and I think that's what needs to be taken away from today's ceremony, today's podcast. Is you're not here just for the high-end athletes; you're here for everybody.
We're here for everybody,
right? And that's what really builds that community.
Right. Well, and the services we offer as a whole, our behavioral health programs we have a great program for people who don't have insurance that help them through their difficult times to and get the care they need in those transitions. So,
and that's one of the things I've picked up on from talking to other people. The grand opening ceremony. I kept hearing the word patient, and that's the focus. You can tell is completely there. As nice as this facility is, as great as the staff and everybody that work here, their focus, everybody we've talked to, is all about the patient experience. From the building is beautiful. Yep. All the natural lighting, the windows, the views, the colors. I mean, it's a warm.
Yeah.
I remember when I was young, the last place you always wanted to go was the doctor.
I know, right?
And now you look at this place like I could probably just hang out in here.
Yeah,
well, that's what that's one of the things we hope. That's what I hope for the hospital too. Is we can provide services for our community that aren't related to their ill health.
Right.
That can help people stay healthy. And as we have programs we're developing to bring people into the hospital when they're healthy, so when they have to use our services, it's not someplace foreign to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Because nobody hangs out Saturday night. Hey, let's go get a CAT scan.
Right.
Maybe we can get an enema while we're there. It doesn't happen.
Date night.
Yeah. Wait a minute. But if we can provide,
the show just went in a different direction than I thought it was going to go. But no, that's all right. It's good.
But that's what we're about. Is really help. You heard it from our senior vice president. Is that our mission is to help people live the healthiest lives possible.
Yeah.
And that expands the borders, the walls of our hospital to our community.
Right.
Well, and you see a lot.
With you guys, trail manners. We want people to get out hiking and running and biking and whatever, all those things, and be active, because not only is it a great place to live, it's good for us emotionally to do that.
It is.
Well, and I think that's the thing. It's a great place to live a life. Right?
It is.
Because you can live right across the street. There's the university. There's the mountains. Everything's right
here. We have
here.
a great downtown.
Yeah,
we do.
Fantastic.
Great restaurants, great opportunities there.
Yeah, so this is just a really big piece of the puzzle.
It is.
For the Ogden
This is
area.
another way to promote Ogden right here. Right. This is another reason why, and Mayor Caldwell said, we're the best resort town in the nation, really.
Yeah, by Outside Magazine. And because and even in the discussions, we talked about all the world-class athletes that come out of the Ogden area. Not just athletes, but I mean, there's world-class athletes. And, we had Dr. Blackham on earlier.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He was fortunate enough to go to the Summer Olympics. He's an athlete. I mean, you see that, Mayor Caldwell, he's always out doing something silly in the mountains too. And, trying to avoid coming in here. So yeah, this is a great facility, and we can't thank you guys enough for
thank you for having us.
Having us, and
here.
it's a beautiful facility. We can't wait to get the full tour.
Yep.
So.
All right.
Thanks, Mike, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the Trail Manners podcast. So sitting with us today is, and I get to say it finally, a special guest. So we are again here at the Intermountain McKay-Dee Surgery Center and Orthopedics grand opening. So with us right now is Trace Ferrin. Now Trace Ferrin and I go back many years ago.
Well, not too many.
Well, okay, then many. So again, thank you for sitting down and talking with us. So what is your role with this new center?
My role has been for the last 20 years or so to be in charge of the outreach program here at McKay-Dee Sports Medicine.
Okay.
And I guess to be more specific about that, what that means is the program that we have where we take our sports medicine services out to the community.
Right.
And as an example of what that means is the athletic training program that we have with Ogden City and Weber County Schools.
Right.
We have athletic trainers that we partner with the school districts and place them at Ogden High School, Ben Lomond High School, Bonneville High School, and Weber High School.
Right.
And we place them there during the school year.
Right. So that way the athletes, if they need care, if they're injured, automatically they have that next level of care, right?
An immediate level of care.
Right.
And going hand in hand with that is through the Porter Family Medicine Program, we have residents and attending physicians assigned to each school.
Right.
And so if there's an injury to an athlete, a student athlete, it's a phone call away.
Right.
And they have an immediate physician on the phone. Those physicians attend the games as well.
Right.
And it's kind of like free labor for us, having the residents involved.
Of course, but the level of care is so much higher.
It's superb.
That's a wonderful service that you guys provide for the community. I've seen it hands-on, and I again, like we just talked with the administrator, that just adds to the value of living here in Ogden. This facility, the individuals that work here, that support it, it's really unique.
Well, thank you. We think it is too. I think, when you're talking about high school sports, college sports, little league sports, one of the areas of big concern is concussions.
Yes.
And from this center, we can provide concussion care.
Right.
We can do impact testing here. We can do it in the schools with our athletic trainers and make sure that those athletes who get concussed get proper care. It's not a guess.
Right.
We have physicians who are specifically trained in that now.
Right.
And it's
that's huge.
It is huge.
Because you see more and more, NFL players, NHL players,
soccer players.
Yeah, exactly. That's so huge, especially for female soccer players.
Sure.
The more and more of that's happening. And when they're taken care of right away, they return to their sport, and they're less likely to have that long-term effect of concussion.
There's no doubt about it. Another area that our outreach program impacts is kind of goes hand in hand with what's going on in Ogden right now as far as outdoor recreation is concerned. We've had the pleasure of partnering with the Goal Foundation.
Right.
The Ogden Visitors and Convention Bureau. When they bring an event to Ogden, such as Masters or collegiate cycling,
right,
they turn to us for medical care for those events.
And do you still provide the medical care for the marathon?
Ogden Marathon.
That's kind of
a winter training circuit.
That's kind of a big thing,
It's a big thing.
It's kind of a big deal.
Our team for the Ogden Marathon consists of about 40 healthcare providers.
Wow.
And we're able to reach out and provide that service at no cost to the Ogden Marathon.
So another reason to do the Ogden Marathon. It's pretty. It's a good time of year, and you're going to get good care.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you won't need that good care.
It's there, though.
It's there if you need it, right?
That's true. That's true.
That's great.
And, we're looking forward to the Mountain to Metro race coming up as well.
That's true. That's so fun that they're bringing that back.
That's true. Yeah,
right?
It's a great race.
It is.
And you guys, trail runners, you understand that.
Yeah.
The need for that. So Xterra, we'll be up at Xterra next weekend as
Oh, that's
well.
right.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what our outreach program is, taking our services out to the community and doing it in a way that it's cost effective or free for the community.
Right.
Yes.
That's great.
So intertwining with what you do, I mean, what's kind of what you're most excited about this facility here then, now that this is done and ready and kicking off?
Several things I think are really critical and allow us to provide services that we've not been able to provide before. First of all, to be next door to the physicians.
Right.
We're seeing patients this morning. On 2 occasions, the physician walked a patient over to me and said, "Would you get him started?"
Right.
And so we can get them started immediately. They don't have to go home, make a phone call, get started in therapy a week later. It's immediate. So that is good. And counter to that, if we have a patient in our office who we sense there's something going on, the physicians are next door.
Right.
We go grab them and bring them over.
Yeah.
And that's different than having to call the physician office because there's a concern and waiting to get back in. So the care is immediate. I think two additional things are awesome here. First of all, the pools that we have. I don't know if you had a chance to look at that.
Not yet. Eric's got his Speedo. We're about to head on down there.
Okay, well, that's awesome. Great. One of the pools, the entire bottom is a treadmill.
Wow.
So in the past, if we've seen an ACL injured patient, post-surgical patient, we will start that patient running at about 3 or 4 months post-op.
Right.
In the pool, because we can, the buoyancy of the water,
Right.
We can start them running generally in about 4 weeks.
Wow.
Wow. That's
So
huge.
we'll be able to
So
speed
that
people.
return to sport is so much faster.
It is much faster, and maybe what you can relate to is stress fractures.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for the ultramarathoners.
Yeah. No, I don't want to relate to that. But
Yeah.
I know where you're going.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get people running and doing their sport again
Yeah.
in a very buoyant situation where the pressure on the leg is very, very minimal.
Right.
And get them back hopefully much quicker.
So there's another advantage of, choosing this location for your care if you need it.
Yeah,
You know?
hopefully they don't need it, but
Yeah,
if they do, it's here.
Exactly. So
Sure.
you've got that. You got the state-of-the-art equipment. You have the care and the compassion of the doctors and the therapists all working as an integrated team within one area, and that's so unique.
You know, another thing that's unique is on this facility, we have an outdoor basketball court
Yep.
and we have a pickleball court.
Oh yeah.
So for pickleball, and a lot of people are playing pickleball.
they are. It's crazy, right? How many
is.
people are doing that?
Lots.
Yeah,
Lots.
it is.
And a lot of them are of the age that they're going to get a rotator cuff injury.
Yeah.
So what we can do is we can take those people as we're going through rehabilitation with them, take them with our staff out onto that pickleball court and work with them. So hopefully,
So does everybody on the staff had to kind of pick up on the nuances of pickleball and learn all the rules and stuff?
sure. Well, at least the techniques.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's what goes on at break time.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
true.
They don't play ping pong. They go out and play pickleball.
Or basketball
Yeah.
outside. And they're beautiful courts. We have an indoor basketball court as well.
Do ya?
So in the winter, we can get people working on rebounding here after
Yeah.
they've been injured. I think the other two things that are really cool about this is our return to sport program. So there is traditionally, by the time traditional physical therapy ends, they're not ready to go back and compete.
Right.
So we have our return to sport program where an individual, for really a nominal fee, can work with one of our athletic trainers and get back to the point where they can compete again. And we also have a fitness program where a person can come in and, again, for a nominal fee, work with one of our trainers for an hour. And it's a great way to become more fit for any age, whether it's a competitive athlete, which we've seen a number of, or just somebody who is a little older and wants to lead a healthier lifestyle.
Right.
So, I'm excited about the whole facility.
We are too.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, we've had the opportunity to talk to a few other people about it, and they're genuinely happy about it. It's not just a building, and I think Mayor Caldwell meant it's not a box with pretty windows. It's what goes on inside.
Right.
Sure.
And so when we see you talk or Dr. Blackham or somebody else, it's like they're excited.
It's
yeah.
It's a genuine asset to the community.
It really is, and it is. We go back to it a lot because that's what we do a lot. Is this community is so active, like in general, it's such an active community, and we all know what it's like to be super active and get hurt.
Right.
And then it's that frustration level. Oh, I'm
Right.
going to lose my fitness. I'm going to lose my strength, and I got to get back. But here, it's the timetable is minimal compared to what it used to be.
Right.
Sure. And we're proud of that, proud of the facility. But, like you mentioned, it isn't just the facility. I think the staff's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-qualified staff, from the physicians, the surgeons, the non-operative physicians, to the therapy, athletic trainers, our hand therapists. They're all just top-notch.
Well, it seems like a great team. I mean, everybody we've talked to said the same thing. I mean, they're like, oh, we can take it right to the physical therapist. We can go right to the physician. We can go to the surgery. I mean, it's just like we know we can hit this next step, and it's going to make not just ours, but the patient just more comfortable, and it doesn't take as long to get to the next phase.
Sure.
And that's time is so critical anymore with anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
I think that's good.
Wrapping
right?
it up, yeah.
Let's
So
wrap it up. Get the next person on.
We'll bring them on. So thanks for taking the time. And,
thank you, Trace.
And I'm gonna
It's my
mention
pleasure.
this because I played soccer across the street here at Weber State in the mid '90s, and you took care of a lot of us because you were the person. Yep, you guys got to go on a Trace. And so,
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a long time ago, but I know you helped me out a lot with a bad ankle. I still remember it all well. So personally, thank you very much.
Oh, you're more than welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
All right, here we are again with Trail Mariners Podcast. So this is interview number 5, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah. So previously, Trace Ferrin was on. Great guy. He and I go way back. So we have another individual that I go back with. Dr. Jeffrey Harrison is here. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. I'm a little disappointed, though. I expected to be in the back of a camper today.
You
I'm
thought you were going to
actually
be
sitting at a table.
You thought you were going to be in the bus, didn't you?
I'm not sure. I thought it was I've got my camper out in the parking
Do
lot.
you really?
guys are welcome
Yeah,
to
we
pop
should.
the top off if you feel more comfortable.
So do you have a Sprinter?
I
Have you
don't. I
entered
have
that yet?
No. I have just a pop-up camper on my Dodge truck.
Okay, so we'll have to talk after the interview about getting a Sprinter.
Okay.
That's the next
That's
step.
what you guys have.
That's the next step.
That's the next. So we got the VW bus,
Oh,
right?
sweet.
Yeah.
But I think for you and your comfort level, you'll want the Sprinter. So, all right, let's get back on topic. So, you're an orthopedic surgeon.
Yes.
For not McKay-Dee, but for so many athletes, and you do it for the grandmas. You do it for the high school athletes. You do it for world-class athletes. You've been around for a long time. And I think it's so cool to see the vision that you've had finally come to fruition.
We're pretty excited. I helped push the vision, but really it's been a great group of people with the therapists, the primary care doctors, our hospital administration, and everybody kind of latching on to that vision and getting it done. I feel like there's been a lot of great support and teamwork to put this thing together.
Right. So what are you most excited about with the new building?
The whole thing is super cool. It's a wonderful space. I think they did a great job with getting a lot of light in here, and it's a lively and healthy feeling place to come to work at every day.
That was the first thing I think Eric and I noticed when we walked in was just how much natural light comes in.
Yeah.
It makes you feel warm and welcome.
It does. It really, it's kind of a modern building, but at the same time you do feel warm and comfortable in it, and there's enough wood and other materials used that it's a neat place to be in.
So what, like some of the things that you do, is there anything new here that is for you, for usage wise, or things you didn't have before?
The big thing is really we've for years I've been the head of the sports medicine department at the hospital, and that was kind of me in an orthopedic office with a little bit of therapy at times next to me. And then we had all these other clinics spread out,
right?
And other physicians, non-operative guys. And Dr. Blackham's been with me for 8 years, but Dr. Bell and Dr. Sharman weren't. And now we're kind of all together and have the therapy with us. The surgical center's all right here. Kind of makes a one-stop shop for the patient. Even the way that we see patients on a daily basis. I used to, see a guy wait for an hour and in my waiting room, see me, and then wait another hour for my scheduler back in my waiting room. Now, hopefully, that's going to be a much quicker wait.
Right.
You'll come see me, get scheduled for surgery, walk upstairs, get registered for the surgery here, get your MRI done, get your therapy done. If you don't need surgery, you go over and see one of the non-operative guys and get taken care of that way. So it really, the way that I'm providing care has changed significantly just with the building, which you wouldn't think that would change that much with a different space.
But it's for the better. That change is so significant from the old model that it really sets not only you apart, but then it sets Ogden apart.
For sure. Yeah, no, this is super cool for Ogden. You know, we have so many athletic people that live here and want to live here and exercise, and it's a pain when you get hurt. And if you show up at my office and I send you off to go get an MRI, and you got to go chase that down and then bring it over, and the disc doesn't work in my computer, and you got to go back and get another one, and then you got to go register at a different place to get the surgery done, and then come back, and then your follow-ups at a different place than you're doing therapy. It you know, the limited time that you have for your free time trying to get yourself mended is really wasted, and this really kind of streamlines your care when you're hurt.
Right. So prior to you jumping on the show, we had Trace on the show, and one of the things he was really excited about were these new underwire treadmills.
Yeah, I think that's going to be super exciting. We don't have a ton of experience. The old McKay Hospital had a pool,
right?
And you know, I think those are all kind of a losing leader for the hospital. They're very expensive to have and maintain and take care of. And so the new hospital didn't have a big hydrotherapy program, and so I don't have a ton of experience treating my patients with it, but I'm excited to treat them over there and have the underwater treadmill and be able to unweight their joints. And I think it's going to be really exciting for them.
I think that's a game changer for some people, for runners, for cyclists, for skiers, to get back to that activity faster and to the point where they're as almost as strong as they were. That's huge for this area. Yeah. As Eric and I have talked about in the past, it's about building that tool set. So that tool set can be having a good coach, doing performance body work, nutrition. And then this is another really big component here, is having this facility, having the individuals that are working at the facility helping you be the best athlete, being the best healthy individual as you can be. And I think it's really unique what we have here.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And, as an individual physician, the price tag of a facility like this is exorbitant. And a small group couldn't have done it. It really probably had to be a large corporation like Intermountain to put it together.
Right.
So.
Well, and it's so critical because, you deal with a lot of athletes, and we talk to a lot of them, and it's that not being patient. It's like, I got to wait, 4 weeks till I can start jogging again because of this. But, talking to some people earlier this afternoon, they're like, we can get them in there in a few weeks now, because of the pool, because of the facility we have. And, being competitive on any sport, on any level, the one thing you don't want to be is out of your game in any way. It's the physical side, it's the mental side, it's all those things. So the service that's provided for people like that, or, my mom had, hip surgery, and her physical therapy took her a little while. They didn't have what's here now to get her going quicker and safer was the big thing. So this is just a game changer in all areas.
Yeah.
So what do we need to expect? As far as the community goes, we were out there listening to how IHC's contribute to the community. You guys are involved in the community. This is going to be a place where anybody can show up and really feel warm and welcome at any time. It's not like, oh man, I have to go to the doctor again.
Yeah, no, for sure. And as far as the community goes, and Stewart Rehab for years, Dr. Sharman's organized the residents to cover all these high school football games. Yeah. Essentially without pay. They've covered the marathon, the bike races up at Snow Basin, Xterra, the rodeo.
Yeah, any of the national events that come in.
National events that come in, basically we've had all these free volunteer hours where all the guys that work here now have just kind of volunteered that. So the the outreach from this program's huge too, and it's really going to be nice. We have a classroom right here that I can sit down and learn from the therapist, and hopefully they'll learn from me what our latest protocols are and how we're treating patients. And as I walk over, if I operate on somebody, I can walk through therapy and see them instead of seeing them at 1 week, 4 week, and 10 weeks, and I only see them 3 times, and their whole care process, I may get to see them 10 or 12 times.
Like weekly, basically.
Yeah, weekly, basically, or twice, or bi-weekly if they happen to have their thing. And
little 5-minute interaction is going to be huge for them.
It's huge for them. It's huge for me. I may think everything I do is great, and I walk over there and see that people really are struggling, or maybe they are doing better, and we can figure out how to do our jobs better to improve that.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on, because you really are a great surgeon. You've got, I can't speak highly enough of you. And I'm excited for this building. I'm excited for you and what it's going to be for Ogden in the future.
Yeah, for sure. It represents a lot, for sure.
Well, thank you guys. I'm just disappointed I didn't get to sit in the VW van.
Next time.
All right.
Next time.
We're out of candy.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the Trail Manners podcast. Next up at the Intermountain McKay-Dee Surgery Center and Orthopedic, we have Tyler Moore, who is the surgery manager. Am I right there?
Yes.
All right, sweet. So we've been hearing all about this facility all day today, but there's one component we haven't touched on a lot, and that's the surgery side, right? So so give us a little information on what's about upstairs, what makes it different, what can we look for?
Yeah, so our surgery center, we're really excited about it. It's obviously a brand new facility. We have 6 great OR rooms. They're all integrated, which means it has the latest technology of equipment and video equipment, many different items that will help us take better care of our patients, make it simpler for our staff so that we can not have to worry about the technical aspect of surgery, but worry about the patient care.
So we've been hearing that a lot today about, kind of everybody we talk to, we always want to get the information on the facility and the equipment, and every single time it spins back to the patient.
Right.
And I think that's super cool because
it says a lot about them.
Well,
right?
I mean, anybody that's going to a doctor, going to rehab, going to surgery, you're worried. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it scares you.
But
Where
it's
am
scary.
I going and what am I doing and what's going to happen? But hearing you guys talk today, everybody we've talked to, it's like patient, patient, patient. So everybody can be safe to know that patient care is probably the top of the list here. Am I right? I mean,
absolutely. Patient care is definitely the top of the list for us. Surgery becomes very normal for us because we deal with it every day. It's what we do every day. But we realize that the patient only deals with it, hopefully not a lot during their lifetime. And so it's not a normal everyday activity for them. So we realize that patients will be nervous. They have lots of questions and don't know exactly how things go. And so we very much focus on the patients and want to make the best experience for them so they're comfortable and get the best care possible.
So we've talked a lot about, orthopedic care here. So ACL repairs and meniscus. Give us a rundown of what other services that you have available here, because I think we've kind of focused a little bit too much on maybe the athlete side. Mm-hmm. So what can the general population expect out of this new center?
Yeah. So obviously we do a lot of orthopedic surgery,
right?
All those things you mentioned, but we do many other surgeries as well. ENT specialty, things like tonsillectomies, ear tubes, things like that, sinus surgery.
Right.
We do general surgery, so that's your gallbladders,
right?
Hernias. There's also, we do a lot of eye surgery, so patients with cataracts that, we can take care of those and other things. General
That's
surgery,
pretty cool.
Podiatry, plastics. We do everything.
Wow, you guys cover the full gamut
of everything. Yeah,
that's
really.
so cool.
Yeah, everything outpatient.
Right.
So we'll take care of that.
Right on.
So what are some of the things for you, I mean, what you do compared to maybe the other hospitals in the area or other places? I mean, you mentioned, larger rooms maybe or some new technology, but what are
integrated,
some of the, everything's kind of integrated and the patient can kind of see what's going on and you explain things better. But what are some of the things from your aspect that are so unique about this, with the facility and the surgery side?
I think it's easy to build a building and put up 4 walls and make a surgery room, but really the difference for us is our staff in being patient-focused, making the experience great. A building is nothing without the people that are providing that care. So our nurses, our doctors, physicians, anesthesiologists, all the way down to our techs are dedicated to the patients and their safety. So that's what makes the difference here.
So what's the excitement level like where you're at? I know it's probably nerve-wracking to open a facility and it's, the expectations and how you want it, but, what's the overall feel for the people here of this facility finally opening after, 15 years, 5 years,
and
all
18
those
months of building. Every time I drive by go to work, I drive by the building.
Yeah.
And I'm like the little boy going, oh, man, what are they doing today? They got big cranes out there. They got big. Yeah, now it's cool. It's done. It's so neat to be inside to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting for our staff that's, taking part of this from the very beginning to help design the space, design the rooms of how it is best laid out to make us more efficient, make it safe for the patients. So it's really exciting to see that come to a close in that aspect. We'll get to move in this weekend, and we'll be going Monday morning. So we're really excited about it.
Cutting and dicing Monday morning.
So Monday morning's kind of the official
is it
launch.
2 for 1 on Monday morning? Yeah.
Is there any Groupons?
Yeah.
No specials
no,
for
wait a
Monday.
minute. We don't want that.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, what was your, what's kind of your role with that surgery center? I mean, what is kind of your hands-on role with how that functions?
Yeah, so I supervise the staff, the nurses and techs and all that. And so part of my job is making sure that we are providing the correct care, that our staff has the equipment they need, they have the tools they need to do the job correctly and provide the services to the physicians and to the patients.
So your stress level's still pretty high because the move's not done?
Yeah, it is. I think once we get done this weekend and get a couple weeks under our belt, make sure everything's going smooth, then I'll be able to relax a little bit.
Got a vacation plan, probably.
Yeah.
Got to get away for a little while now that it's running smooth. So I think overall, I mean, the excitement we can feel. I mean, we're here, and our listeners can just hear the voices. But as we look around and see the excitement's here, I can't tell people or stress enough how this is a community thing.
It is. It's
we've
such
heard
an
it
asset
all day long from the mayor, from the speakers, from the doctors.
Right.
I mean, there's tours going on. We got kids walking around the halls. We got people
getting all
going
sugared
around.
up on sugar cookies.
Yeah, right. So for the community, I think what's going on here is phenomenal. I mean, it's a perfect place for it here in Ogden, with all the the active people, plus as well as the people that have been here for a long time that just call Ogden their home. So
yeah. It's great, in like you said, here in Ogden with the activity levels of the people that live here, and be able to get top quality care here in Ogden rather than having to go to Salt Lake or even further away. It's top quality care. One thing I will mention as well, our staff has been very dedicated in that we've been practicing our flows and everything in this new building over the last few weeks so that we are prepared that Monday morning it'll be the first surgery, but we definitely won't be any lower standard of care or quality of care for our patients that first day.
Well, I can imagine. I mean, just the feel good of walking in this building is the first thing you hit as a patient or as someone that's not working here. So when you come in, I think that first thing you're going to feel is maybe a little bit of relief and maybe a little bit I feel good here, and then you have to go forward. But I think it's that first initial. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, sometimes you walk into a hospital and it scares you.
It was it was so dreary and drabby.
And the lighting's bad. And they got the lights flickering, and here it's like just a sun and a huge mountain. And, I think that's going to be a huge advantage to already what's been built here.
Yeah, and plus having the new surgery center with the state-of-the-art design and technology, and being able to have the doctors interact with the patients at multiple levels during the course of the surgery, during the course of the rehab, really sets this place apart.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, Tyler, thanks for taking the time to join us, talking to us a little bit about the surgery center. I know that's one thing that we hope we don't have to visit, but I think we'll all walk away going, if we did, this is definitely the place I would want to be.
Yeah, me too.
For sure. So thanks for all you do. Thanks for coming on the show, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Trail Manners podcast. We'd like to thank Intermountain Healthcare, as well as Intermountain McKay-Dee Surgery Center and Orthopedics, for the invitation to come out to the grand opening and talk to so many amazing people. This is absolutely a facility you're going to want to check out, and we're so happy to have this here in Ogden. We also would like to encourage you to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Trail Manners, or swing by the website at trailmanners.com. Stop by the store page for some gear, or hit us up on the contact page and let us know what you want to see, who you want to hear, or if you would like to be on our show. So until next time, this is Eric Manning with Joel Hatch reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.